Chpter 1096 Appearance. I'll be your match. Silencio raised his sword and stood in front of Laozi, his arrogance soaring. Laozi held the horsetail whisk in his hand and stroked his beard. You, who stole the spacetime of fate, took the wrong path. Aren't you going to repent? Silencio had transmigrated to the past and challenged Laozi. With Laozi's cultivation, he could naturally sense it and even counterattack. If not for Hanju, he would have directly crossed space and time to kill Silencio. Laozi did not say anything else. The two of them transformed into two sword lights and soared into the sky. They killed their way to the peak of the chaos and began the battle. The chaos had more Great Tao Supremes, but the primordial chaos Great Tao Supremes were all very strong. For example, Tao Sovereign, Zhao Xinyuan, Jiang Yi, Muronqi, and the other hidden sect disciples had all proved themselves in the chaotic assembly. Not only that, but as the chaotic battle began, more and more Great Tao Supremes joined. In the Myriad Worlds projection, the chaotic heavenly dog appeared and said, "We're calling for help. Hurry up and teleport over to reinforce them." With that, the dozens of figures waiting in the Myriad Worlds projection stood up. They were all chaotic fiend celestials of the second Tao field. Guanbubi laughed. Finally! Kill! The hidden sect must dominate everything in this Great Tao immeasurable calamity. The other chaotic fiend celestials also laughed. The chaotic heavenly dog urged, "Stop pretending. Hurry up." Dozens of chaotic fiend celestials immediately teleported to Muronqi's side. At the same time, in the chaos, the Great Tao sages of the primordial chaos each sent hundreds of millions of primordial demon soldiers and primordial life forms in different directions. The worlds along the way were destroyed by them, and all the living beings they encountered were destroyed in body and soul. Tragedy and despair were spreading in the chaos. Han Huang had yet to appear. In the consciousnessless domain, a figure broke through the ground at the bottom of the chaos and flew out with countless figures. This figure was peerlessly divine. His aura was world-shattering, like a war god who had stepped from the end of fate. His golden armor shone with Great Tao divine patterns as if countless figures were meditating and chanting. Humph! Han Huang, don't be arrogant. Do you really think you're invincible in the world? The golden-armored divine shadow snorted coldly. His voice was also domineering, resounding throughout the chaos. On another side, an endless sea of blood surged out from Shirtian and swept through the void, spreading towards the chaotic battlefield. In a sea of blood, a man with a bare upper body and a lower body that was like blood. He fused with the sea of blood and his long hair fluttered wantonly. His cold and evil face was filled with fighting spirit. The two eyes on his forehead were like blood crystals that vaguely emitted a black light. Primordial fiend celestial? I want to see it. The four-eyed man in the sea of blood muttered to himself, his eyes filled with killing intent. The sea of blood moved faster and faster, vaguely expanding. Transcendent domain. The mighty creation emperor court army was advancing in the void. Han Yi, Han Yao, and Han Bahen were the three leaders. They walked at the very front. Countless emperor god immortals marched behind them, as well as many majestic flying dharma treasures, spirit beasts, and ferocious beasts. Han Yao sighed. This aura is really strong. I didn't expect so many Great Tao Supremes to be hidden in the chaos. Han Bahen said, although the ultimate evil chaotic devils slaughtered all living beings, the mighty figures did not lose much. Furthermore, geniuses kept rising. Han Yi stared ahead coldly. Han Yao noticed his gaze and teased. Han Yi and Han Huang had once fought side by side. Furthermore, the two of them were similar and often discussed the Tao together. Han Yi couldn't accept Han Huang's betrayal the most. Humph, how is that possible? I've always wanted to defeat him. Han Yi couldn't be bothered by him and snorted. Immediately, an endless stream of factions from the various great Tao worlds rushed to the battlefield, wanting to contain the primordial chaos. This battle was unprecedented. The space at the edge of the chaos had already begun to crack. In the ancient primordial world, purple chi was like a sea. Huang Zuntian was sitting down. Bones gathered around him, forming a circle. To be precise, it was primordial origin. He had already possessed Huang Zuntian's body and suppressed his soul. Primordial origin opened his eyes and muttered with a burning gaze, Han Huang, it seems that you're really a primordial fiend celestial. So, I failed because of you. He raised his right hand, and the shadow of Huang Zuntian's soul appeared on his palm. Tell me, what should we do in this great Tao immeasurable calamity? Primordial origin looked down at him and asked. Huang Zuntian looked up at him and snorted. Is my opinion important? I suddenly want to support Han Huang. Yo, you're very rational. If the two primordial fiend celestials join forces and stop the chaotic trend of killing him? Huang Zuntian mocked. Primordial origin ignored his emotions and nodded in agreement. The primordial fiend celestial battle is not now. It will be in the endless era in the future. In that case, let's help Han Huang together. When are we leaving? Let's wait a little longer. We will bring the second wave of despair after Han Huang. Could it be that there's a power in the chaos that can turn the tide? Don't underestimate the chaos. A mysterious existence must be manipulating all of this in the background. Think about it carefully and you should be able to sense it. Huang Zuntian was silent and fell into deep thought. Primordial origin suddenly smiled. It's time for the show. A screen of light appeared in front of him, projecting the chaotic war. Huang Zuntian looked over. Tens of thousands of divine authority generals had appeared above the 3,000 great Tao. They were equivalent to tens of thousands of top great Tao sages. Compared to when he faced the divine might, Generals was naturally the ultimate god of punishment. The ultimate god of punishment brought dozens of ancient great Tao divine spirits over to reverse the situation and suppress the primordial chaos. In the third Tao field, Hanju was also watching the battle. However, this great Tao immeasurable calamity had just begun. It would probably last for a long time. Hanju lost interest after watching for a while. Cultivation was more important. He had to hurry up and break through to the Creator Lord realm. He looked at the blank domain. The Purity Great Tao world was getting closer and closer to the ultimate origin world. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity did not stop it. He was clearly prepared to sacrifice his great Tao world to fulfill his wish. This way, it was very difficult to hide the fact that the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity had joined Hanju. Even if the Tao creators thought that he was coercing him, they knew that once the Purity Great Tao world was devoured, the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity would have to listen to him. Hanju smiled and closed his eyes. On the other side, in a mysterious domain, the formless transcendent deity met the evil Heavenly Emperor. I'm prepared to help Han Huang, the formless transcendent deity said. The evil Heavenly Emperor was shocked. There's no need to explain. This is also your intention, right? Thank you. Senior. The evil Heavenly Emperor took a deep breath and thanked him in a low voice. He supported Han Huang not only because of their relationship but also because he really felt that Han Huang had a higher chance of winning. as the Creation Emperor Court headed to the chaotic battlefield to reinforce the chaos. In the Transcendent Domain, the evil Heavenly Emperor began to rearrange the army. On the other side, Heavenly Tao. More than 1,000 Heavenly Tao sages gathered in the Universal Hall. Every one of them had a solemn expression. Chou Shilai snorted. The battle between the chaos and the primordial chaos is already unstoppable. The hidden sect supports the primordial chaos. The Heavenly Tao should also make a choice. I think we should support the primordial chaos. Don't forget how the Heavenly Tao rose. If not for the hidden sect, do you think the chaos will support the Heavenly Tao? When the primordial chaos fails, won't the chaos suppress and even destroy the Heavenly Tao? His words were supported by the older generation of sages. Only they knew how difficult it was for the Heavenly Tao to survive in the chaos in the past. If not for the divine might Heavenly Sages' help, the Heavenly Tao would have been destroyed countless times over. However, the new sages did not think so. They had never seen the divine might Heavenly Sage on their path of growth. They only felt that the hidden sect was powerful. A sage said, but Han Huang wants to destroy all living beings in the chaos. This is a huge sin. His words attracted the agreement of many sages. That's right. Han Huang is so cruel. If the Heavenly Tao helps him, isn't that equivalent to not being able to tell right from wrong? The past is the past. If we help Han Huang today and he wants to destroy the Heavenly Tao in the future, who will help us then? That's right. We can't lose our morals. We can't follow blindly just to survive. Sages should use their sage heart to survive. How can they not know right from wrong? Han Huang didn't say if he will let the Heavenly Tao go. Could it be that we have to beg him? The new sages became more and more excited. Huang! Heavenly Venerate Wufa frowned and looked displeased. Han Yunjin listened as they went overboard, and even began to impeach the hidden sect and the Han family. He also became unhappy. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du had no choice but to say, the Heavenly Tao is actually also a great Tao world and doesn't belong to the chaos. You have to think carefully. What will happen to the Heavenly Tao if Han Huang wins? The new sages became restless. They subconsciously thought that Han Huang would lose. Since ancient times, evil could not defeat good. Such a philosophy was something they had accepted since they were born. In addition, the Heavenly Tao had not encountered a calamity that came close to destroying them for a long time. They were too idealistic and advocated the so-called morality used to control mortals. After all, the new sages had also grown up from mortals. Pan Xin smiled sinisterly. In that case, the Heavenly Tao might as well be divided into two camps. One supports Han Huang, and the other supports the chaos. No matter who wins or loses, the Heavenly Tao can maintain its inheritance. The new sages were silent. They weren't stupid. They could tell that the older generation of sages wanted to support Han Huang. In the Heavenly Tao, the new and old factions were not only divided by age, but also by strength. The strength of the older generation of sages far exceeded the new sages. A sage stood up and asked, "What makes you think Han Huang can win? Because he's the Divine Might Heavenly Sage's son? Don't forget, the Divine Might Heavenly Sage also has descendants in the Creation Emperor Court. The legendary Emperor is even his biological daughter. Perhaps the Divine Might Heavenly Sage won't interfere in the great Tao immeasurable calamity. Han Huang will be our master if we support the primordial chaos. Think about what Han Huang can bring to the Heavenly Tao and not blindly revere the Divine Might Heavenly Sage." This statement was supported by many new sages. In their opinion, The older generation trusted the divine might heavenly sage too much. To put it bluntly, they were afraid. Heavenly Venerate Shindu said, then let's wait and see for now. However, you have to know one thing. If Han Huang obtains an advantage and the heavenly Tao helps him, the reward will naturally be less. This plan was supported by the new sages. As for what he had to say, they did not care. Compared to repayment, they wanted to protect their current power and lives more. Boom! 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 The 3,000 Great Tao were shaken. Chaotic. The Great Tao Supremes fought intensely. The Great Tao Sages also led a large group to kill. There were more than 1 million battlefields of all sizes in the entire chaos. Han Yi held the world-piercing divine origin bow and killed 1 million primordial demon soldiers with a single arrow. It was unstoppable. Tao Sovereign appeared and blocked his path. Han Yi recognized him. Senior, does the hidden sect really want to support Han Huang? Is this your intention or the progenitors? Tao Sovereign smiled. My master is busy in seclusion and won't care about the chaos. You don't have to feel pressured. In the great Tao immeasurable calamity, just fight for yourself. No matter which side you're fighting. For, it's a fight for creation. Han Yi heaved a sigh of relief upon hearing that Hanju wouldn't interfere. Although he hadn't seen the progenitor for a long time, in his heart, Hanju had always been the existence he admired the most. If not for this progenitor, he would have long fallen into the cycle of reincarnation. How could he have his current status? Let me see the ultimate Tao treasure master gave you. Tao Sovereign raised his hand, and the Dharma idol of the great Tao world appeared behind him. Han Yi smiled mysteriously. My Bao specializes in restraining great Tao worlds. Senior, be careful. Is that so? Then I want to see if you can break through my great Tao world. Tao Sovereign smiled proudly. His eyes narrowed as he moved Han Yi into his great Tao world. His great Tao world only had rules and no living beings. It was often used by him to fight. On the other side, Han Yao faced Jiang Yi. Zhao Shenyuan faced Han Bahen. A figure tore through space and appeared under the 7 supreme rules. It was the 9-headed divine spirit. He wore a black robe with flames at the edge. Only his head was revealed. His face was cold and looked quite similar to Zhao Shenyuan. 9 black crystals floated above his head and spun on their own, emitting an endless black aura. The 9-headed divine spirit looked down at the chaotic battle below and sneered. A group of worms should shake the chaos. Come out! The black mist around him suddenly entered. A supreme rule. The supreme rule fluctuated and gradually condensed into a figure. It was the previous leader of the divine spirits, the primordial ancestor god. The ultimate god of punishment, who was controlling the divine authority generals to fight, seemed to sense something and suddenly looked up. He was stunned when he saw the primordial ancestor god. How can this be? The ultimate god of punishment revealed a look of disbelief. He had personally killed the primordial ancestor god. How could he revive? The primordial ancestor god raised his hands and checked his body. He muttered, "Long time no see." He noticed the gaze of the ultimate god of punishment, but he was disdainful of him. If not for the dark forbidden lord, he would not have cared about the ultimate god of punishment at all. To the 9-headed divine spirit, thank you for your help. The 9-headed divine spirit said expressionlessly, kill the worms that want to destroy the chaos. All right. The primordial ancestor god walked down. There seemed to be an invisible staircase under his feet. In an instant, the 7 supreme rules trembled in unison and shot out their power, landing on the primordial ancestor god. The divine spirit's true leader had returned. The primordial ancestor god had taken less than 5 steps when the power of the 7 supreme rules all added to him, causing his aura to reach its peak and startling the entire battlefield. The great Tao supremes of both sides looked up. Some great Tao divine spirits were moved and revealed looks of disbelief. He's indeed still alive. The Holy Mother of Order looked up at the dazzling primordial ancestor god and thought. The primordial ancestor god looked at the tens of thousands of divine authority generals before looking at the ultimate god of punishment. He stole my deity position and stole my divine generals. He really deserves to die. The primordial ancestor god snorted and waved his hand. Terrifying dermic powers erupted. The supreme power was like a heavenly river that overturned and drowned the ultimate god of punishment. The ultimate god of punishment condensed his armor and raised his hand to point. A black pillar of light shot out. 2 powerful dermic powers collided, causing the space to lose its color. A terrifying storm overturned the great Tao Supremes. The battle between the new and old leaders of the divine spirits was also a blood feud. All of you, continue to destroy the primordial chaos. I will personally deal with this evil devil. The ultimate god of punishment shouted angrily. He displayed his true sharpness at this moment. He rarely took personal action ever since he took over. He had almost forgotten that he was also warlike. With that, the great Tao Supremes of the Chaos continued to attack the primordial chaos. The primordial ancestor god was shocked as he fought the ultimate god of punishment. He discovered that this fellow could actually mobilize the power of the supreme rules. How was this possible? He hadn't passed the deity position to him. He couldn't help but look at the 9-headed divine spirit. Could it be him? Little did he know that the 9-headed divine spirit also had mixed emotions. He also fell into the mortal world after the primordial ancestor god died. Only one existence could give the deity position to the 9-headed divine spirit. The 9-headed divine spirit did not dare to think about that existence. The ultimate god of punishment and the primordial ancestor god fought. It was difficult to tell who was stronger. Both sides grasped the power of the supreme rules, and the mystical powers they used were almost identical. The new great Tao divine spirits were all secretly shocked. They didn't expect the ultimate god of punishment to be so powerful. In the past, they were only used to his status and did not know how strong he was. The ultimate god of punishment and the primordial ancestor god's power was clearly higher than the power those at the great Tao Supreme yielded. Be it the primordial chaos or the chaos, they were both shocked. At the same time, primordial domain, beside the primordial pool, Han Huang and Goddess Mingji stood side by side looking down at the primordial despair. Goddess Mingji asked with lingering fear, "Husband, how long are you going to raise it? It's already strong enough." Primordial despair was sleeping. Even so, aura emitted made her shiver. She had never felt such a terrifying aura. She even felt that primordial despair had already reached her husband's height. Han Huang said expressionlessly, "It can't bring true despair to the primordial chaos. Yet, we still have to wait." Until when? When the great Tao Divine Spirit dies. The great Tao Divine Spirit will die? Rules. Han Huang's expression was illuminated by the purple light of the primordial pool as he said softly, "Of course. Many will die." Goddess Mingji was puzzled, but she did not ask further. She chose to believe her husband. "Husband, how confident are you about this great Tao immeasurable calamity?" "I only do what I want to do and do my best. I don't consider success or failure because I will only win. Regardless of victory or defeat, I'm willing to follow you in life and death. You might die, and for the sake of my great cause, I won't focus on you. Even if I die, I'm willing." Goddess Mingji looked at Han Huang with a gentle expression. Her gaze could be said to be filled with love, causing Han Huang to frown. Hanju opened his eyes. 10 million years had passed. He was getting closer and closer to the Creator Lord realm. He could already sense the barrier. As long as he broke through that mysterious, the ultimate origin world also expanded at an unprecedented speed in these 10 million years, almost doubling in size. The Purity Great Tao world had already arrived beside the ultimate origin world and was devoured by it. The Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity silently endured it. After the Yin-Yang Purity Nirvana deity transformed into an ultimate origin life form, the Purity Great Tao world transformed itself into the ultimate origin world. The ultimate origin Qi washed the internal environment of the Purity Great Tao world. Hanju said, "Shawnee, go to the Nine Divine Stars Taoist Temple." While cursing, Shawnee opened his eyes and hurriedly stood up to leave. As for why he was chased away, he did not dare to ask. He walked very quickly, as if he was in a hurry to curse, afraid that it would delay him. Chaos was in the flames of war. The primordial chaos and the chaos kept fighting, but in short, the primordial chaos was unstoppable and its domain was expanding. Han Huang had yet to appear, but he suppressed the chaos with his subordinates and hidden sect's fellow disciples. The chaotic factions watching the battle couldn't sit still anymore. They appeared one. From the looks of it, if Han Huang did not make a move, primordial chaos would suffer its first defeat. However, Hanju had already seen Han Huang's methods. It was a product condensed through the supreme rules of the various Great Tao worlds. There was indeed hope of overturning the chaos and bringing despair to it. Hanju was curious. What would the ninth chaos do? If he could see that thing, so could the ninth chaos. It would definitely prepare a backup plan. Once the ninth chaos participated, Hanju would also make a move. Therefore, the ninth chaos had to prepare other methods to stop him. It was worth mentioning that Li Yao, Xian Qingjun, and Dao Comprehension Sword had also entered the calamity and went to reinforce the primordial chaos. Among them, Li Yao was the most famous. Even Lao Zi couldn't do anything to her. The current Li Yao was already at the top of the chaos. In addition, Hanju often preached the Tao to her. Her mystical power was unfathomable. Ordinary Great Tao Supremes could easily lose to her. However, a force caught Hanju's attention. Tao Heavenly Race. Pango and the Tao Ancestor had joined forces to create a new race. This race was also participating in this battle, but they were not only dealing with the primordial chaos but also the chaotic life forms. It seemed that they wanted to take advantage of the great Tao immeasurable calamity to push the Tao Heavenly Race to the peak. They had to have a powerful force to support their growth. It was impossible for the ninth chaos to let them replace the chaos. Hanju wouldn't let his son die in the hands of the Tao Heavenly Race. In a mysterious domain, the chaotic consciousness, the formless transcendent deity, and Shurtion's immeasurable destruction venerable gathered. The chaotic consciousness said, the yin-yang purity nirvana deity seems to have submitted to the divine might. What should we do? Although the battle between Hanju and the ninth chaos didn't begin, it had clearly begun. Hanju's son, Han Huang, wanted to destroy the chaos. He also had the support of a large number of disciples. This was clearly going against the ninth chaos. Hanju didn't stop him, which meant that he acknowledged it. Tian's immeasurable destruction venerable side. We probably have to make a choice. We can't be alone. The formless transcendent deity side. The chaotic consciousness asked, are we going together or working separately? The two Tao creators were silent. The chaotic consciousness said, actually, we don't have a choice. That's right. Their great Tao world had already been fused by the chaos. They were the ninth chaos slaves. Could they still resist? The formless transcendent deity said, this is our only chance. If we don't struggle, I'm afraid in the future. Tian's immeasurable destruction. Venerable side. Even a loyal lackey like the yin-yang purity nirvana deity. The chaotic consciousness 8 eyes narrowed. Support the divine might? If we fail and he surpasses the Tao creator realm, I'm afraid. What if divine might wins? The formless transcendent deity's question made the chaotic consciousness silent again. Tian's immeasurable destruction venerable did not say anything and also weighed the pros and cons. After a long while, the chaotic consciousness asked, Transcendent, have you made your choice? The heavenly court is your attitude, right? The heavenly court had already rushed to the battlefield. To the chaos' surprise, the heavenly court actually wanted to help the primordial chaos, catching them off guard and even causing morale to fluctuate. A peerless expert appeared in the heavenly court and called himself the ultimate origin fiend celestial. He was very powerful and had once fought several great Tao Supremes without losing. However, not long after the ultimate origin fiend celestial revealed its reputation, it was surrounded by 9 mysterious existences and suppressed, disappearing without a trace. The evil heavenly emperor was furious and had no choice but to shift the heavenly court's attention to finding the ultimate origin fiend celestial and leave the battlefield. Although the heavenly court had only participated in the battle for a short time, in the eyes of the chaotic consciousness, this was the formless transcendent deity's attitude. The evil heavenly emperor had the closest relationship with Hanju and the formless transcendent deity. It could even be said he was the bridge between the two. With the evil heavenly emperor around, the two of them had the possibility of forming an alliance. The formless transcendent deity said, I want to be a true Tao creator. A true Tao creator. The chaotic consciousness was shocked by this sentence. Tian's immeasurable destruction venerable asked faintly, but how can you be sure that the divine might will let you? The formless transcendent deity said, other than the enemy, you should understand his attitude towards his disciples and children. Hanju posed almost no restrictions on his children and disciples. Cultivating wholeheartedly was indeed rare. They had also observed the ultimate origin world. Hanju also had a free attitude towards it. The more they thought about it, the more tempted they became. Thinking about it carefully, they had no grudge against Hanju and he didn't offend them. From the beginning to the end, they wanted to test Hanju many times. The formless transcendent deity said, there's no need to say too much. There's no existence older than us in this world. Choose based on your own heart. Just don't regret it. With that, the formless transcendent deity vanished. The chaotic consciousness looked at Tian's immeasurable destruction venerable and asked, what about you? Tian's immeasurable destruction venerable said, although I have a favorable impression of divine might, I still believe in the chaos. Since ancient times, when has he ever lost? Furthermore, there's the variable of the dark forbidden lord. Consciousnessless, perhaps we will be inferior to the chaos, but how many mistakes have we made? The chaos has already tolerated us. Are you really sure that the more depressed he is, the more I'm worried that he will change drastically. The chaotic consciousness pondered. Time passed quickly. The war in the chaos progressed very quickly. As the battles continued everywhere, the flames of war spread to the various great Tao world domains. Order collapsed and yin and yang changed sides. Future came. Although it did not affect the great Tao immeasurable calamity, it also made all living beings despair. When would such a chaotic situation end? The great Tao immeasurable calamity's negative karma became stronger and stronger. Boundless resentment filled the void, also producing many unprecedented evil devils. From great Tao sages to mortals, they were all wrapped in the karma of the monstrous calamity and fought endlessly. The primordial chaos and the chaos had wins and losses on different battlefields. Sages and freedom sages died one after another, but great Tao sages rarely died. As for the great Tao supremes, none of them died. This was something that all living beings below the great Tao sage realm could not see. They only saw the eternal mighty figures lead the charge. In addition to the blood feud, they naturally sacrificed their lives. Almost all the hidden sect disciples entered the great Tao immeasurable calamity, including the Han family descendants. Now, the hatred between the primordial chaos and the chaos had already reached an irreconcilable level. Hanju was still focused on cultivating. He was getting closer and closer to breaking through. Million years old, opened his eyes and frowned. Is this your choice? You have to pay the price, Hanju muttered to himself with a cold gaze. Two powerful Tao creators descended into the chaos. Although they were not using their full strength, it was enough to change the situation of the great Tao immeasurable calamity and make Han Huang personally take action. Chaotic consciousness. Shi Tian's immeasurable destruction venerable. They divided their strength among their subordinates and attacked the primordial chaos forcefully. They were invincible and unstoppable. Hanju immediately sent a voice transmission to the formless transcendent deity and the yin-yang purity nirvana deity. 2 against 2, very fair. The two Tao creators immediately took action. In less than a day, they each created an expert that far exceeded the great Tao supreme realm and rushed to the battlefield. The four mighty figures who had the power of a Tao creator could make the entire chaos. Although they were strong, they were not true Tao creators. Han Huang was stronger than them, so Hanju wasn't worried for now. Our subordinates have already made a move. Next, let's see who breaks through first, Hanju muttered to himself with an excited expression. Different levels fought different battles. Behind the great Tao immeasurable calamity stood Hanju and the ninth chaos. Their battle had already changed the great Tao immeasurable calamity's meaning. Then, Hanju closed his eyes and continued cultivating. At this moment, a rainbow flew past the universe of stars. A figure stood in the rainbow light. It was the reincarnated Tao ancestor, Hongjun. Hongjun looked down and did not see his master, Liu Bei. Not stopping, he continued to rush towards the primordial chaos. Purple chi filled the primordial hall. Hongjun looked at the majestic figure standing on the platform in front of him in a daze. What do you want? Han Huang asked with his back facing him. His tone was cold. Han Jun's seniority in this life was the same as Han Huang's. Han Huang knew his master, Liu Bei, so they were also fellow disciples. Otherwise, he wouldn't have personally met Han Jun. Han Jun faced him calmly. He wasn't afraid or moved. Han Huang said, "The primordial chaos needs the Tao heavenly race's sincerity. After destroying the 9 extremes orthodoxy, I agree to let the Tao heavenly race be the orthodox lineage of the primordial chaos and carry the first heavenly destiny." 9 extremes orthodoxy. Han Jun was moved. He had naturally heard of the 9 extremes orthodoxy. Its leader was even from the heavenly Tao. Han Huang stared into Han Jun's eyes with extreme dignity. The pressure was heavy. An ordinary person would probably not be able to stand steadily. Even the reincarnated Tao ancestor, Han Jun, was shocked. How strong was this primordial? Fiend celestial? Han Jun felt the pressure, but he knew there was no room for negotiation. Han Huang didn't trust him. He even felt a hint of killing intent in the hall. This killing intent was extremely terrifying, causing his soul to tremble. Clearly, Han Huang sensed his ambition. Han Jun said, "All right." Han Huang smiled. "Very good. Then I'll wait for the good news." Han Jun cupped his hands and bowed before leaving. Killing intent flashed across Han Huang's eyes as looked at his departing figure. "Tao heavenly race? I want to see if you're worthy." He snorted in disdain. After so many years, the Tao heavenly race. Anyone with discerning eyes could tell that. They were ambitious. Han Huang looked into the depths of the chaos. The 4 extremely powerful auras made him uneasy. He had never seen them before. Why were there suddenly so many existences that could threaten him? He suddenly felt that he had yet to see the chaos clearly. What kind of world was above the chaos? What was his father's vision? Was the mysterious existence who had created the chaos still alive? Too many doubts filled Han Huang's heart. In the end, I'm still too weak. If I can surpass the great Tao Supreme Realm and reach Father's realm. Han Huang's eyes flickered. His ambitions burned in his eyes. Time passed. Cultivation. He even forgot about the great Tao immeasurable calamity. A Tao creator could create everything. It was already a supreme realm and the limit that living beings could think of. He was omniscient and undying. Space-time, karma, and providence were all in their eyes. The Creator Lord realm was even stronger. Han Ju didn't know how strong he was. This was a realm that no one had ever reached. Han Ju also obtained many insights when the ultimate origin world crazily devoured the blank domain and kept expanding. He saw many things that came from the blank domain. The blank domain looked blank, but it was actually abundant. It contained the basic elements of rules, creation, fate, and so on. It was as if controlling these profound substances that even the Tao creator could not see could open up everything. His ultimate origin world could even replace the blank domain and reach an endless number. What was endless? Even a Tao creator could never reach the end. This was a journey that intoxicated Han Ju. He couldn't help but wonder if there was an end to the blank domain. How was the blank domain born? Han Ju's will swim wantonly in the blank domain. In a daze, the chaos swept past him. However, in this instant, everything that had happened since ancient times and the future development of the chaos were in his eyes. The future was uncontrollable. No matter how powerful his cultivation was, he could only control the future that was weaker than him. However, the future of any existence could be controlled by Hanju if he reached the Creator Lord realm. Although he had yet to master this power, just the thought was enough to make him intoxicated. Apart from those basic elements, there were indeed no other worlds and races hidden in the blank domain. Hanju saw the ancient primordial world and Huangzuantian. Other than them, there were no living beings in the. At the same time, in the ancient primordial world, primordial origin opened his eyes and frowned. Was that an illusion? He pinched his fingers to deduce but could not deduce anything. Logically speaking, it was impossible for him to be mistaken with his cultivation level. However, he had absorbed too much primordial negative karma and had indeed hallucinated. Hanju's consciousness wandered in the blank domain for an unknown length of time. He felt that it was extremely long. He had seen too many scenes. It was enough to be 100 times, 1,000 times, or even more than the experiences of all the living beings in the entire chaos since ancient times. A great Tao sage would probably not be able to withstand such a memory impact. Hanju suddenly opened his eyes. He discovered that he had appeared in a blank domain. There was nothing in all directions. No great Tao worlds could be seen. Hanju looked down at his hands. His control over his body was still there. However, he couldn't sense the ultimate origin world or the chaos. This state was extremely strange. It was as if he was the only one in the blank domain. Hanju's eyes narrowed. The blank domain suddenly changed. All sorts of colors appeared in the space and all sorts of distorted forms appeared, like the condensed form of the 3,000 Great Tao. These gas-shaped substances moved quickly, making the entire blank domain dazzling and illusory. Even Hanju felt dizzy. He was not dizzy from vision, but of power. The basic rules of the blank domain. The so-called basic rules were Hanju's description of the core operating power of the blank domain. He didn't know what it was. But this power was very strange, enough to make a Tao creator dizzy. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of Hanju. It was Creator Lord? Another Hanju stared into his eyes and asked. Unprecedented door. Before that, he needed to purify his Tao heart and surpass all living beings.